Kaysey Yoder went missing on January 14th, 2024. Over a year of investigation by family, friends, and authorities has yielded no answers. The community and those closest to her, including her 4 children, still don't know exactly what happened on that fated afternoon.
Welcome to Like Mother, Like Murder. I am Rachel.
And I'm Heather.
We bring you the good,
The badass,
and the crime.
This is Like Mother, Like Murder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Like Mother, Like Murder, your favorite true crime momcast. I'm Rachel.
And I am Heather. And each week we bring you mom-related true crime, from missing moms to murdered moms, moms who murder, survivors, and more.
Yes, welcome, and thank you guys for checking us out. We always say it, we have some of the most amazing listeners here. Each week we see the numbers growing and more of you guys tuning in and checking the episodes that we're bringing each week to you guys, and we truly appreciate it more than you guys know, and we always just got to give you guys that shout out as soon as we hop on the mic because it freaking means the world to us.
For sure, for sure. We have been seeing a growth, not just in our regular weekly numbers, but also on our Patreon, which we have a special shout out today, our newest Patreon member.
Yes, we do. We got another patron, Justin. Thank you for joining our bestie group over there, the Bestie Babes. You are in that group, and we are so thankful. We are so appreciative of you showing us that support, and we hope you enjoy the bonus content, the ad-free, the early, the doc talks, the whatever else is going on over there. The dead serious but not reallys.
Yeah.
We need another one of those pretty soon.
We do need to do another one of those. Yeah, no, we actually, for all of those who are not familiar, we have our Patreon, and we actually just did a doc talk on the most, I swear, and I've seen a lot of true crime documentaries. This is probably the craziest documentary I've ever seen. So if you want ad-free listening, if you want extra content, like listening to us literally detail out the most insane true crime documentary you've ever heard, become a Patreon member. You can also get all those same benefits by becoming an Apple subscriber if you have an Apple. If you get your podcast from anything other than Apple, I'd just say go on and check out our Patreon. Just go ahead and do that. So if you are into more content and ad-free listening, we've got options for you. So before we jump into today's case, this is definitely related to today's case, but this episode, we're actually recording this, and this episode will come out in May. And in May, we recognize Mental Health Awareness Month. And we have done this, I think, every year that we've had this podcast. We've done something to kind of commemorate mental health awareness as moms, and as, we know how important mental health is, especially maternal mental health. We've talked about before how important it is that you're taking care of yourself, because other little lives depend on you. And it's really hard to be there for anyone else if you're not also taking care of yourself. So
yeah, definitely.
One thing I want to make sure to bring to everyone's attention is that, it is May, and, in efforts to promote mental well-being and educate on mental health and reduce any stigma surrounding mental health issues, we will discuss it today in the episode, because mental health does play a role in today's case. And it is definitely our hope here on Like Mother, Like Murder that when we're covering cases like this, not only are we helping to kind of, get attention for these cases and spread information about the case itself, but also to, especially in today's episode, I'm really hoping that we can encourage some empathy and some understanding for those who are affected by various mental health conditions. And so I'm going to repeat this at least one other time in the episode, but take this as your sign, everybody. It's May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. If you are in need of mental health resources, there are resources out there for you. The one that we will put in our show notes and that we're going to talk about right now is 988 Lifeline. So there are resources if you just go to 988lifeline.org, or if you're currently struggling or someone you know is currently struggling and you're in need of that immediate help, you can call or text 988 and take this as your sign. Like I said, to reach out, get the help you need. There's no better time than now.
Yeah, I love that you're bringing this, and I love that you touched on all of that because it is truly so important. And I feel so this is just such a big topic and conversation and importance that so many people struggle with mental health problems or they know someone who is struggling, and that affects them as well. It's one of the things I think that's not talked about as much, because it's always trying to get the help for the person who needs it. But so many people are around and try to support these people who go through stuff too. So it is really just something that needs as much kind of like focus and help and eyes and support and resources and all of that. So I'm really glad that you're covering something that is going to touch on that today.
Yeah, for sure. May snuck up on us for sure. But I was going through some of our older episodes, and in the past we've covered, we re-released them in May just to really, again, just provide that education, provide that little bit of knowledge when it comes to mental health. Yes. And so I wanted to do the same thing today. I wanted to bring a case that is definitely mental health related. And we are going to get into it.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Despite over a year of investigation by local authorities, with consultations from the Colorado Bureau of Investigations and the FBI, rallying by friends, family, and the community, we still do not know what happened the cold afternoon of January 14th, 2024, when then 34-year-old Kaysey Yoder allegedly walked away from her home just east of Eaton, Colorado. Oh, I just got chills. Anna Green is one of Kaysey's closest friends. They grew up facing challenges like motherhood together. Anna described Kaysey as enthusiastic with infectious energy. This is a sentiment that Kaysey's mom, Tammy Ruth, echoed. Tammy explained how Kaysey had an infectious smile and, quote, she'd walk into a room and light up the whole thing, end quote. Tammy says that Kaysey has been that way since childhood, that they would go to grocery stores and she'd compliment people one by one. She was just a fun, extroverted person, and Anna described Kaysey as a social butterfly. Kaysey Yoder
sounds so amazing. Like, she just, everything that you're saying, she's just like...
And if you look at pictures, there's a lot of pictures of her, and she just, you can tell. Like, you get the vibe and that energy from her, like, right, even just from the picture, you can tell.
Yeah, we'd want to be her friend for sure.
100%. And after what I'm going to tell you, you want to just love her and be her friend even more. So Kaysey lived in Colorado with Evan Tipton, Some reports I read said that he was her husband. Others said long-term boyfriend. So I don't know if maybe it was one of those, what do they call those after you've been married or living with someone for like 7 years? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Now
People
it's
are screaming right now. They're saying like,
yes,
well,
everyone
common
is
law,
like,
common
it's
law.
so easy.
Yeah,
yes.
Common law. Okay.
So
I got
easy.
it. So she had been with Evan for a long time. And Kaysey is also a mom to 4 boys.
Wow.
Can you imagine 4 boys?
No.
My grandma, my dad is one of 4, and my grandma must have been a saint because I don't even know how she did that.
I have 3 stepsons.
I mean, that is true. And a daughter. That you are. But I know you're a saint, so that's fine.
Oh, my heart.
Okay.
Well, so is she.
She truly is, and I'm going to tell you some stuff, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, for 100% she's a saint.
Wow.
So Kaysey was devoted, hardworking mother, and this was especially evident in how she cared for her eldest son, who was born with a severe birth defect. Unfortunately, because of this birth defect, he couldn't walk, he couldn't talk, he did require a wheelchair. That, of course, did not stop Kaysey from making the most of life. Kaysey had taken up roller skating when she was growing up, and she continued this activity with her children. So Kaysey would skate with her boys, and she would push her eldest in his wheelchair while skating.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Oh, Heather's already all up in the feels. No, it is. That is so sweet and just like all such a good way, inclusive, you know what I mean? Like it's just such a good way to like bring everyone together because it's not like her and her one son was doing it. It was like they were all doing it, and that's beautiful.
The family.
Yeah.
When Kaysey disappeared, she was in the process of getting her certified nursing assistant license or her CNA license so that she could become his formal caregiver.
Okay.
And she only had one more test to take. Wow. This devotion to her family is one of the reasons that all of her friends, all of her family were very confused by her disappearance last January. And now, unfortunately, with Kaysey gone and unable to provide that care for her eldest at home, he is now in a long-term care facility by himself.
Oh, man, that's so heartbreaking.
It really
How old was the oldest son?
He's older. I don't have the exact ages because I think, they're trying to...
Yeah, they want to keep it.
He is
How old
older.
was she at this point?
34.
Yeah, 34. So that age range can be kind of everywhere at that point.
So let's talk about the day leading up to her disappearance. I do want to provide a trigger warning here as we will be discussing thoughts of suicide. So please take care of yourselves, and if you need to, just skip forward about 30 seconds. On January 13th, 2024, Kaysey had what you could consider a mental health emergency. She was on the phone with her best friend Anna, and she was saying things that really made Anna worry. Things like she was going to go lay down in the snow and let herself freeze to death. This could be connected to reports that Kaysey had stopped taking her medications for bipolar disorder. And we see this happen all too often. An individual with a mental health condition they're taking medications for, and the medications are working, and they start feeling really, really good. So they think, hey, I'm better. I can stop taking them. But just the way that you have to finish your prescription, like the way that when you have strep throat or an ear infection or something like that, and the doctor says, take this for 14 days, even if you feel better after 3, you have to continue to take it. It's the same thing with prescriptions that are given for mental health issues. You have to continue taking your medications. This is something that I'm very familiar with. You can't just stop. As good as you're feeling about how your life is going, and again, I think that this has a little bit to do with the stigma that surrounds mental health and taking a prescription for mental health issues. what you have to kind of think about is some people have to take blood pressure medication. Some people have to take like cholesterol medication. Taking a medication for a mental health issue is no different from that. Your body just needs whatever it is to work right. And the same goes for whether it's your heart, your blood, or your head, right?
Yeah. I highly recommend, though, while you're taking medication, for everyone to also be implementing different things into their lives to, you know, whether it's going outside or eating better or reading or changing different things, because medication, some medication is long-term. It's always going to be there. It's something that you need. Sometimes you eventually don't need that anymore for whatever it may be. And so you have to have made these things or learn the things that are going to help you when you're no longer taking the medication as well.
That's a good point. And we're going to go a little off topic, kind of, but not really, because this is about mental health. The best way that I've had it described to me, the medication isn't about making you feel 100% better. The medication is getting your body to the point where it can function enough that you can take those steps to make you feel better.
Yes.
So the medication is about, like, let's say you have depression. The medication is about doing enough for your serotonin levels that you can now get up out of bed and go for a walk or do that meditation that makes you feel the rest of your way better. It's about evening you out so that you can continue to do, like what Rachel said, those things that we know are good for our mental health. Take walks outside, get some sunshine, meditate, journal, do whatever it is. But sometimes your body is just so, and your brain is just so broken or put down or just in a place that it just can't even get to the point to allow you to do those things. But what medication does is it gives you that extra boosty.
Right, yeah, it gives you
so you can start working on yourself. It's not, it's definitely not a cure-all. Like, you're only going to get out what you put in, right?
Yep,
so that's a really good point.
We've been there.
Yeah, I've been there. So back to Kaysey. These statements, she was talking to her best friend, Anna. Anna was, of course, worried. She checked in with Kaysey the next day, and she said Kaysey seemed better. It might have just been a low point, a thought that was just kind of in and out, okay? Kaysey's mom, Tammy, had also talked to Kaysey the next day on the 14th, just an hour before her disappearance. And Tammy said Kaysey seemed fine. She said, quote, she was in good spirits, end quote. So when the call dropped, Tammy didn't think much of it. She just thought, okay, she'll just call me back.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So that afternoon, around 4 p.m. on January 14th, 2024, Kaysey left her home on Appy Road near Eaton, Colorado. Evan, the long-term boyfriend / husband, said that she did take keys for both vehicles, but she set out on foot. And she had told Evan that she was going to spend the night with her best friend, Anna. Kaysey took a change of clothes, small backpack, and she was off. But the next morning, Anna got a call from Tammy, Kaysey's mom. Yeah. Once they realized that no, Kaysey was not at Anna's house, they called Evan, and they were like, hey, what's up? At this point, everyone is putting together the pieces and realizing that no one has actually seen or heard from Kaysey since yesterday.
Oh, man. I'm instantly like, okay, I need to know more about Evan. I need to know so many things.
I know.
My head
We're
is
like
all over
true
the
criming
place.
it up. Don't worry. We'll get there. So Anna explains that she was really concerned and pretty upset with Evan. She was like, what the heck? You knew she had a hard day yesterday? Like, you should have been checking in more. But he was under the impression that she was off to Anna's house. So she knew that Kaysey was in a vulnerable state. And so she just was really concerned. And Evan was the one who ended up reporting her missing on January 15th at 11:29 a.m.
Okay.
Okay. So let's dig into the investigation. On July 26, 2024, this is about 6 months after her disappearance, the Weld sheriff, they'd released a statement, and it's just a really good statement because it recaps the whole investigation. So I'm going to kind of summarize it, but first I'm going to start with the quote they have at the top of their statement. This update is being issued with the hope that if anyone knows anything about Kaysey's disappearance and they have not come forward, we ask them to do so now. We also ask for the public and the members of the media to understand this is still an active and ongoing investigation, and we intend to preserve its integrity for Kaysey and her family. End quote. So in those 6 months, unfortunately, investigative efforts have not uncovered where Kaysey went or where she could be, but I'm telling you, it was not for lack of trying. We have seen some half-ass, zero-ass investigations in the past, especially when there's some kind of mental health piece of it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I can say now that is not what happened here.
Oh, good. Because I was like, we've seen some
I know.
absolutely amazing investigations.
We just talked about one. Cleo's investigation was amazing.
Right.
And we've definitely seen some poor fucking investigations.
Yeah.
So in the 6 months after Kaysey disappeared, here's everything the Weld Sheriff Department did. They spoke to over 20 members of Kaysey's family, friends, and uninvolved witnesses. This included conducting conventional interviews, forensic interviews, and a polygraph, which I will get into. I bet you can guess who they polygraphed.
Yeah.
They followed up on roughly 50 community tips about Kaysey, including alleged sightings of her. She was last seen at a liquor store. This was her last confirmed location, and they conducted an in-depth 2-square-mile search using drones, canines, and foot searches.
Okay.
They did bolos, be on the lookouts, that were sent to all the surrounding law enforcement agencies. They spoke directly with 7 other law enforcement agencies asking for help. And because of them reaching out, these other agencies sent out specialized teams wherever they felt like, okay, this is the area we need to check. They did visual searches along the major roads and interconnected roads from Weld County area into Fort Collins. Now, Weld County, where she was technically unincorporated. Eaton is the town, but like where she was I guess just outside of Eaton. It seems like a very small but big area, like small population wise, but kind of like a big geographical area. And if you head west of the Eaton area, you hit the bigger city of Fort Collins.
Okay.
So
where she was, it just wasn't heavy populated.
Right.
Okay.
But they checked everything in between her area and Fort Collins.
Okay.
They also consulted with the Colorado Bureau of Investigations and the FBI, which is, we have seen so many times and talked about so many times how like when it's a smaller jurisdiction, maybe they don't have as many resources and or the background and the expertise they need to call in reinforcements. They did. They indeed did, which is great. And they also have continued to work with the local DA and the judicial district for search authority so that they can gather more evidence and narrow the search down. I'll talk a little bit more about the warrants that they've been trying to get. In addition to all of those things that were conducted by the authorities, the Weld County sheriffs, and then everyone that they kind of tasked with helping them, the family also had a PI working on the case. And this PI explained that they checked hospitals, that they checked psychiatric facilities, jails. And remember I mentioned that polygraph.
Right.
So the PI confirmed that it was Evan, who was given the polygraph. And Evan came out and said, yeah, you know, they gave me the polygraph. I passed it. And she was able to confirm that with the investigative agency. So, yeah.
The private investigator was?
The private investigator confirms that, yes.
Okay.
He
this
took
is like
one
all
and he
stuff
passed
that
it.
Everything you're saying is exactly the stuff that you want to hear that is happening early on and throughout investigations of any sort of missing persons, unsolved, whatever it may be. You want to see all of the time, all of the efforts, all of the, here's something, okay, we're going to try this, we're going to do this, this is new, we're going to, you know, and that's exactly what's happening so far. I always worry when I find cases like this because, like, the first thing they say, right, is like, okay, this mother of 4 went missing, and then you read that she had a mental health emergency the day before she went missing, and there's reports that she maybe had stopped her medication, so you're like, oh my god, they're just going to say, oh, well, she just ran away, yeah. But they were all in. The Weld County Sheriff's, a big shout out to them. They did not let that stigma or the possibility that even if this was voluntary, that was not going to stop them from investigating, which was it's amazing. It makes me think of like certain cases, so like Kay Alana Turner or Heidi Plank, who you know have had things happen, had situations, episodes, whatever it may be, and then you are just
pissed as fuck about the way that the investigation went because they blamed it all on a mental health issue.
Right.
Yeah. No, I know. And so I was obviously like super scared. I mean, we've talked about things like this before. It was really encouraging to see this handled. This is exactly how it should have been handled, and they did it. So currently that PI said that deputies are also working to get access to Kaysey's phone records. So there is currently a change.org petition for more access to her phone records. The link's in the bio. I will talk about this a little bit more, but that is currently where the investigation stands. They are trying to get some more info from her phone. So on top of the authorities' official investigation and the PI, Kaysey's mom, of course, is all in on this. She's been constantly searching for Kaysey herself, putting up as many posters as possible, speaking with anyone and everyone who may have even the slightest idea of what could have happened to her daughter.
No, I have a feeling I heard you say that that's where it stands, and I can't stand for that.
Yeah, I will go over the little bit of information that we have. So since January 2024, there's not much information that's become available, but here's what we do know. Kaysey left her house around 4 p.m. that day. Witnesses later placed her at Alt Liquor between 5 and 9 p.m. that night. Now, from what I can figure out just from Google Maps, this liquor store was about 5 miles from her house. So I don't know if she like walked it or what, but she originally set out from her house on foot. The bag that she was carrying with the change of clothes, it was found at an intersection near her home, along with her son's cell phone.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but Kaysey's cell phone has not been found. Her bank account was also untouched.
So her phone wasn't found, but are they, I know that you said they're going to do more searches onto her phone, but are they even able to see as of right now whether or not there's been any more usage on her phone?
So that's the problem, right? From what other people can see, they know that there was no calls, no texts after she went missing, right? Okay. But like I mentioned there's a petition right now on change.org. The link will be in the bio to get more access to her phone records. Okay. So this petition, it was created by Kaysey's friend Anna and is addressed to the district chief justice. And it's basically requesting approval for a warrant for law enforcement to access Kaysey's phone records. Okay. So law enforcement's all in. They have this warrant. They just need approval from the judge. The link is in the bio. I'm urging you all to just go sign it. They're so close to their goal, and they just need to know that there's enough support to get approval to look into her phone records.
Yeah, definitely. Go do that. I got to do that after this.
If this warrant is granted, when this warrant is granted, let's put it into existence. Let's manifest it.
Yes.
It can hopefully shed some light into the time around her disappearance. Now, currently, the Weld Sheriff's Department, they do not suspect any criminal activity is involved currently. But the phone records may be able to confirm whether or not there's suspicious circumstances involved here. Here's the thing, though. Like I said, they don't have any reason to believe there's something criminal going on currently. But in that statement they made in July, they did say that false or misleading statements are not helpful and only slow the efforts to find Kaysey. So this makes me believe that someone out there was being an ass and provided false or misleading statements.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
Like, what the friggin' heck?
They also go on to say that there have even been statements saying, like, someone has made a statement saying they know some helpful information about where Kaysey could be, but then whoever made these statements, they wouldn't then talk to detectives. So also that I don't like. Like, that's suspicious. I mean, it's possibly criminal, even if that person had nothing to do with Kaysey's disappearance. If you're potentially hindering an official investigation,
right. Yep.
That's criminal. But that's not the only criminal thing I'm going to talk about. And this is really going to piss you off.
Oh, here we go.
Let's talk about some definitely criminal, horrible, filthy, scum of the earth people that is related to Kaysey's disappearance, but probably not in the way that you think.
Okay.
So to add insult to injury, there are some, like I said, just absolutely scum people trying to take advantage of Kaysey's family during this already vulnerable, heartbreaking time. Both Kaysey's mom, Tammy, and one of her sons were approached by scammers pretending to be Kaysey and asking for money.
Gosh, it's such a Layla Santinello type freaking like
it's so
thing with her mom.
Shitty.
Gosh.
It's so shitty. It's so shitty. It's so shitty. It is Layla Santinello. That's exactly what it reminds me of.
Wow. People are so sick.
I know. Tammy would explain that these messages would say things like, "You give me the money, I'll be back tomorrow," claiming to be Kaysey and saying, "They have beaten me up, they kidnapped me, I don't remember anything." And this one, just like, it breaks your heart and pisses you off all at the same time. And this is a quote. "I want to come to you, mother, mom, do you want me to continue to suffer?" So Tammy said that she kept asking whoever was on the other side of these messages, like, to call her, like, call me, like, I want to call you, I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
And when whoever was on the other line finally called, someone just said, "Mom, help me," before the rest was kind of like muffled. And that was kind of all she got out.
Could she tell if it was her voice or like a girl or anything?
I think it was too muffled for her to really like get anything out of it. But the messages continued. But apparently then this person said that they were in Russia, and Tammy was like, no. Like, Tammy's like, "I knew this wasn't my daughter." And so she basically told this person, like, "You're not my daughter. Shut up. I need to focus on finding my daughter." To make it even worse, though, this piece of absolute trash was not only messaging Tammy's mom, but also messaging Kaysey's mom, Tammy. You're right. Yeah. But she was also messaging one of Kaysey's sons.
Okay,
and
no,
the report I read,
ridiculous.
I know. I believe this report said it was the son who I believe was 9 at the time. And it's heartbreaking because he was responding to this message, and Tammy said, like, he was responding to these messages thinking, like, it's his mom. And he was writing things like, Mom, I love you. Come home. I love you. I miss you.
Oh, so the person that was messaging was pretending to be her at that point.
Was pretending to be Kaysey.
Yeah, okay. I was like, why bring the kid into it? But then...
Because they're pretending to be
tracks.
Kaysey.
Yeah, that tracks. Still disgusting and awful.
Absolutely disgusting.
Oh.
So Tammy does the right thing, though. She reported the incident to police, and she actually reported it to this nonprofit organization called Justice Takes Flight, which helps families of missing people. And they made some statements saying, like, unfortunately, like, this happens to these families who are already missing a loved one. People try to take advantage of the situation.
Can't they track from the son's phone or the mom's phone?
Yeah, I'm hoping that because Tammy reported it to the police, like the same way in Layla Santanella's case, they were able to track it. Exactly. Yeah. I'm hoping that, you know, since she reported it to police, that they will be able to investigate it, because it's like that person needs to pay. That's bull.
Yeah,
It's
and just so
just
you
such
know,
trash.
it is a very, very big problem, and it's, the term is not coming to my brain, arrestable offense.
Oh yeah. It's completely, because you're committing like fraud. You're trying to get money from people under a false pretense.
In Layla's case, Michael got 16 years
Fuck yeah.
because of it. So everyone who thinks that it's okay to fuck around, you're going to find out. That's all there is to say about that.
Hell yeah. Sorry, Rachel. That's where we stand.
No, it's not.
It is. It is.
So, okay. So they have the change.org
petition
to search her phone or to get more information from her phone.
Mm-hmm.
Are they actively, I know that, you know, it was reported, but has it been said that they're actually investigating and looking into the others' phones to see who's on the other line? Is that happening too?
That I don't. You mean like from the scammers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that it was reported to police, but I haven't seen any reports about whether or not they've caught someone or whether or not they're investigating that. I assume they are. I'm going to assume they are. As far as it goes with finding Kaysey, I mean, most likely these scammers are just that, scammers, and they're being assholes. And
okay, still hold them accountable and lock them up.
Oh, for sure. They still need to be held accountable.
Pieces of shit. But also, like, and I know that you can find information and play with it or whatever, but even if it's a scammer, like, no, I was going to say maybe they know more, but if it's just someone who saw an ad and is like, oh, I can just get a little bit of money out of somebody type thing, I get that. But
I mean, either way, this person needs to be
right,
like found and questioned, because if there is a possibility that they do know more and they're just being an ass as well, then they definitely should be questioned. I know it's being investigated, but I haven't seen any. I mean, I know it was reported, but I haven't seen any updates in that investigation specifically about the scammers.
Well, we're going to need to see some updates in this. So
I hope to God I could literally
it's a little
update
over
tomorrow.
A year. So it's like 14 months-ish since she's been missing. Wow. And no sightings, like nothing credible, nothing that's like...
The last confirmed sightings of her were from that day, unfortunately.
The family doesn't have anyone in Russia?
I don't think
it's not her out there?
No, I don't think so. That was Tammy's ultimate, like, okay, shut the fuck up. Like, you're not...
Well, of course, like, none of me wants to believe that this mom would up and leave her kids, you know?
Mm-hmm. I don't think she did. I don't think... I think that even if it was a voluntary, quote-unquote voluntary, of her leaving, I don't think she meant... I don't think she was in like all of the right state of mind. And I think that if she did mean to leave, she didn't mean to leave for that long.
Yeah, like she was going through some sort of mental
She was
break,
going through
and
some
even
stuff.
if she did walk away, it wasn't, yeah. So, and then when they looked into Evan?
Yeah.
I almost said Ethan for a second. Evan, he took the polygraph.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing else that they...
He's not considered a suspect at all. I mean,
Which hopefully that all tracks. You know, there's 4 children that need him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Kaysey Yoder was 34 years old when she went missing from Weld County, Colorado on January 14th, 2024. Kaysey is 5'9" and weighs 110 pounds. At the time she was missing, she had platinum blonde hair. She has hazel eyes, and she was last seen wearing jeans, a brown jacket, knee-high combat-style boots, and she was carrying a backpack. If you have any information about her disappearance, please call Detective Stupka at 970-400-2832, or you can call the tip line 970-304-6464, and you can also email your tip to crimetips@weld.gov. And, you know, the last thing I kind of want to say is just, again, remember that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So let this be a reminder that as a society, we should be promoting mental well-being. We need to continue to learn and educate ourselves to encourage a better understanding of those who are affected by mental health issues. And this includes reducing the stigma around mental health conditions. We talked about how fortunate it is that in this case, in Kaysey's case, her mental health history did not keep the authorities from doing all the right things, because we have certainly seen in the past that that stigma around a person's mental health history can influence how a case was handled. So again, we're talking about Kaysey's case today to spread awareness in hopes that our listeners will support the further investigation into the case. Go to change.org, go to that link. And that the more people who hear about Kaysey and her case, it can reach the right ears, it can reach the right people who have more information to share. And again, we're talking about this as well to spread awareness about the importance of understanding mental health issues. And again, if you are in need of mental health resources, you can visit 988lifeline.org. Or if you want to talk to someone right now, you can call or text 988.
Yeah, and do that. For those of you guys that are struggling, know that it's okay to take that leap, to take that jump, to choose yourself, to live another day, to be here, to, you know, just keep fighting on.
100%. Yeah, this is your sign. Take it from us.
Yes, this is your sign.
Yeah.
Wow,
But
wow, Kaysey.
I know. It's heartbreaking.
Sheesh. It is, because it's one of those things where when it comes to missing persons cases in general, I struggle so hard for numerous reasons, because if it's not being investigated enough, I struggle.
Mm-hmm.
If it's being investigated so much and there's nothing, I struggle. It's just always this struggle, right?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I don't see how people, and I know that it happens. So as I say this, I'm not trying to sound like a fucking fool right now, you know? But it's like, if she would have went and taken her own life or something like that, where is she?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Where is she?
That's what I'm
You
saying.
know?
Yeah.
So it's like, is she with somebody? Is she somewhere else? And has there been sightings? Like, that kind of stuff is what really, really irks me the most, is the fact that you don't just go missing like that.
Exactly. Because it reminds me of like Elaine Park.
Yeah.
Where there was a mental health emergency based on, all the evidence. But now it's like, well, where is she?
We were just talking about this, Heather. You guys, if you do not remember the Elaine Park episode, we also covered Mitrice Richardson.
Oh my gosh,
and my aunt and uncle who live in Agora Hills, right there, Calabasas. It's like we were just talking about their cases, and it's two other cases that have a very, very, very heavy mental health aspect to it.
For sure.
So
yeah, and it's definitely one of those things where I feel like they did a search, like they searched. Like you can see the evidence of their search, and like you said, if it is a situation like that, they would have found her. So there's got to be someone out there who knows something else, and that person needs to come forward.
Right.
I agree. Whatever the case is, it needs, like someone can't just like straight up disappear, right?
Right. Wow. Well, I mean, you did great covering it. We need to get as much out there as we can on Kaysey. We need to continue sharing her story, her name, her face, her information. Which we will do our part for sure. But you guys go sign that change.org petition that's in the show notes. Share her picture.
Share her picture. She's beautiful. You guys really should check. I mean, we'll obviously post it, but you can just tell from her pictures, like the smile, it really is. It's just like, ah.
And she has 4 children.
4 boys. Yeah,
who need
4 boys.
Her, who need her. So let's do that. Wowzers, Heather.
Yep. There's Kaysey Yoder. So thank you guys for tuning in for another week. I hope that your May starts off and is just full of very healthy mental health. For all of you out there listening, and just take those steps that you need. It's just as important as your physical health, and if not more important, because we've seen so many times where mental health obviously impacts your physical health. So
you need a good mental health to take care of your physical health.
You got to do it. So I just wish all of you a very, very happy May, happy mental health, and do all of the things to make sure that you're in a good place. I will be doing my best to do the same. Yeah, until next time, you guys.
Yeah, we will talk to you guys next week. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Don't sneeze.
It's right there.
Say pineapple. Look into the light. Turn around and look at the like mother, like murder sign.
I love you. Bye. It's gonna be May.
It's gonna be May. We should have said that at the beginning of our last episode or end of our last episode. Oh, God.